Have you ever experienced a painful, yet glorious transformation? Let's analyze Alex's painful, yet glorious journey of self-improvement. Meet Alex, a 27-year-old man with a stable job who feels like he is slowly dying inside every single day. Despite having a routine and a salary, a deep void consumes him, leaving him feeling stuck in a loop of mediocrity. The source of his misery is not his job, but the 4 people he calls his best friends: Marcus, Jordan, Kevin, and Ryan. Marcus is the complainer, always blaming his boss for his lack of progress, but never doing anything to improve his situation. Jordan is the dreamer who spends all his free time playing video games while talking about plans he will never execute. Kevin is the cynic, mocking anyone who tries to succeed, convinced that the system is rigged and effort is completely pointless. Ryan is the party animal, dragging everyone into late nights and hangovers, ensuring no one has the energy to work hard. They are good people at heart, but they have accepted a life of mediocrity and unconsciously demand Alex do the same. Whenever Alex tries to speak about his dreams or a new business idea, the atmosphere in the room instantly turns cold. They respond with sarcasm and doubt, telling him to be realistic and stop chasing fantasies that will only lead to failure. Slowly, Alex learned to keep his mouth shut, shrinking himself to fit into the small box his friends had built for him. He did not realize that by staying with them, he was anchoring his potential to the ground, unable to fly high. Days turned into months, and Alex felt the fire inside him turning into cold ash, suffocated by the negativity around him. He looked in the mirror and saw a man who was compromising his future just to avoid being alone in the present. The turning point arrived on his 28th birthday, a day he hoped would be a celebration of life and friendship. He booked a nice table at a downtown restaurant, excited to share a meal and perhaps reconnect deeply with his friends. 7 o'clock came and went. Alex sat there with a hopeful smile, checking his phone, expecting them to walk in any minute. By 7:45, the smile had vanished. He sent texts asking where they were, but the screen remained silent and dark. At 8:30, the waiter asked if he wanted to order. Alex realized the painful truth. No one was coming for him. He was sitting alone at a table for 5, surrounded by empty chairs that represented the emptiness of his social circle. Watching others laugh and celebrate made him realize he had been prioritizing people who did not value his presence at all. He left the restaurant without eating, walking out into the cold night air, feeling a heavy weight crushing his chest. The walk home was the loneliest moment of his life, but it was also the moment the fog began to clear. The next morning, seeking clarity, he sat in a park where he met Mr. Richardson, a wise and successful retired entrepreneur. Mr. Richardson noticed the young man's despair and struck up a conversation that would change the trajectory of Alex's life forever. Alex poured out his frustration about his friends, his birthday, and his feeling of being stuck in a life he hated. The old man closed his book and said, "You are suffering because you are trying to plant an oak tree in a flower pot." He explained that your environment dictates your growth. If the pot is too small, the roots have nowhere to expand. Then he shared the famous theory: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their habits become your habits. Their fears become your fears. And their limitations eventually become your own permanent glass ceiling. If your friends engage in complaining and laziness, you will subconsciously adopt those traits to maintain your connection with the tribe. "Look at them," he said. "Winners surround themselves with other winners because energy is contagious, just like a virus is contagious." He explained that people are like gravity. If they are not climbing up with you, they are inevitably pulling you down. Alex asked the hardest question. "But they are my history. Do I just abandon them to save my own future?" Mr. Richardson replied, "Growth requires loss. You cannot discover new oceans unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore." Alex sat there for hours. He realized that to save his life, he had to make the most painful decision ever. He went home and looked at the group chat. He knew that announcing his departure would only invite more mockery and doubt. Instead of a dramatic goodbye, he chose silence. He muted the notifications and decided to step into the shadows for a while. He began the process of detoxification. He cleared his physical space of distractions and prepared for a season of intense isolation. When they called to invite him to the bar, he declined. When they knocked on his door, he pretended not to be home. They called him arrogant. They called him a traitor. They said he thought he was better than them. It hurt deeply. This was the cost of growth. He entered what he calls the 6 months of darkness, a period of absolute solitude. He replaced Friday night drinking with reading. He replaced Sunday afternoon gaming with gym sessions. He was building a new vessel. The loneliness was sometimes unbearable. He missed the jokes and the comfort of the old group, but he kept moving forward. He started attending seminars and networking events, feeling awkward and out of place, but forcing himself to shake new hands. Slowly, the atmosphere around him began to shift. He met people who talked about ideas and future plans, not other people. He found a new circle. These people challenged him. They asked him about his goals and actually offered help to achieve them. The contrast was stark. His old friends drained his energy, while his new friends recharged his battery and pushed him higher. When he shared his business idea this time, nobody laughed. They gave him feedback, contacts, and the confidence to launch it. 1 year later, Alex opened his own small agency. It was hard work, but he was no longer dying inside. He ran into Marcus on the street. The conversation was short. Marcus was still complaining about the same boss and same problems. Alex realized that he had not just left a group of friends. He had escaped a time loop of endless stagnation. He understood now that you cannot change the people around you, but you can change the people you choose to be around. He called Mr. Richardson to thank him. The old man simply said, "I did not change you. I just adjusted your mirror." Alex learned that your network is your net worth, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. He accepted that losing friends who hold you back is not a tragedy. It is a necessary step towards your evolution. Today, Alex is surrounded by people who discuss visions, not people, who talk about growth, not the weekend hangover. He broke the flower pot. He planted himself in fertile soil, and finally, the oak tree within him began to rise. The journey from loneliness to leadership was painful, but staying in that comfort zone would have been a far greater pain. Now, I ask you the same question. Mr. Richardson asked Alex, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do they inspire you to be better, or do they comfort you as you stay the same? Be honest with yourself. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You need people who intimidate you slightly. It is better to walk alone in the right direction than to follow the herd walking off a cliff into mediocrity. Do not be afraid of the empty chair. Do not be afraid of the silent phone. These are the spaces where you grow. Eagles fly alone. Pigeons flock together. If you want to soar, you must be willing to leave the flock behind. Take an audit of your life today. Identify the anchors holding you down and have the courage to cut the rope. It will hurt. You will be called selfish. But remember, you owe your potential the chance to breathe and to exist. Your future self is begging you to make the hard choices today. Do not let your loyalty to the past destroy your future. Surround yourself with dreamers, doers, and believers. Find the people who see the greatness in you, even when you cannot. Time is running out. Every second you spend with people who drain you is a second stolen from your true destiny. Be like Alex. Choose the difficult path of growth over the easy path of stagnation. Your life depends on it. This story is a reminder that you are the architect of your social environment, and the master of your fate. If this video spoke to you, please like and share it with someone who needs to hear this important message today. Thank you for watching Unstoppable Mind today. Subscribe now to join our community of winners and never miss another life-changing lesson.